Good morning, children. Sairam. Children, today we will revise history lesson number 5, mass media and history. Now, children, mass media, it comprises of two words, mass and media. Now, children, mass in this context means aggregation of people, and media, it means various modes of communication. So, mass media is a field of mass communication. Now, children, in older times or in older days, a crier, he would run in the streets beating drums and crying out important news according to the orders of the king. So, the news would spread among the people by word of mouth. So, in olden days, there used to be a crier who used to spread the message by beating drums, okay, and it was as per the orders of the king. So, the news, it would spread among the people by word of mouth. Yes, so in olden days, there was a crier, you can say town crier, okay. Now, next, let us learn about the history of mass media. Now, children, printing technology and newspapers, they were introduced in India after the arrival of the British. Then the people started receiving printed news through newspapers. So, newspapers became the first mass medium of circulating information and knowledge among people. So, very important, children, newspapers, they became the first mass medium of circulating information and knowledge among people. So, printing technology and newspapers, they were introduced only after the arrival of the Britishers, and then the people started receiving printed news, okay. Now, you all know what are newspapers, right? Now, children, newspaper is a publication which mainly prints news, then editorials, people's opinions, entertaining or supplementary contents like children entertainment like sports and all about the movies, everything you get the information in newspaper, and it is printed and distributed regularly at a definite time. This is very important, that newspaper is printed and distributed regularly. They provide information, okay, about the local, national and international news. Newspapers, they act as historical documents which record the current events. Very important, children, they act as a historical document which record the current events. So, children, you know about newspapers? Yes. Now, precursors of newspapers means that before newspapers, how the message it used to spread. So, children, before the beginning of common era, there was a custom in Egypt placing inscriptions with royal decrees at public place. So, whatever were the royal orders, in Egypt they used to place it. They used to place on a inscription. They used to carve on pillars, or you can say stones. So, similarly, even Emperor Ashoka, he resorted to similar method, okay, to reach out to his subjects. So, whatever were their royal orders, they used to inscribe on the pillars or on the stones. And in Roman Empire, the royal decrees were written on papers, and those were distributed in all regions. They also contain the information of various events taking place in the nation and its capital. So, in the Roman Empire, it was written on papers, okay. And during Julius Caesar's reign, newspaper known as Acta Diurna, that is the events of every day. That is every day what is happening. So, they used to write in that, right? So, during Julius Caesar's reign, newspapers known as Acta Diurna, means acts of every day, used to be placed at public places in Rome. So, in Rome, you have to write about Acta Diurna, that is acts of every day. And in England, handouts used to be distributed occasionally, giving information about wars or important events, okay. Now, children, let us learn about newspapers. Now, the first one, Bengal Gazette. Now, children, Bengal Gazette, it was the first English newspaper of India, and it was printed on 29th January 1780. So, the first English newspaper of India was printed on 29th January 1780. It was named as Calcutta General Advertiser or Bengal Gazette. Children, you have to remember this. It was named as Calcutta General Advertiser or Bengal Gazette, and it was started by James Augustus Hickey, an Irish gentleman. So children, you have to revise this. You can get this as an objective type question in your examination. So it was started by James Augustus Hickey, and he was an Irish gentleman. Okay. So just have a look, children. James Augustus Hickey. Okay. Now let us learn about the next newspaper, Darpan. Now children, the newspaper Darpan was started in 1832 in Mumbai. Bal Shastri Jambekar was the editor of Darpan. The news printed in Darpan can be reviewed to know about the political, economic, social and cultural events of those times. So children, Darpan newspaper was started in 1832 in Mumbai, and who was the editor of Darpan? Bal Shastri Jambekar. And in Darpan, what news was printed? About the political, economic, social and cultural events of those times. Now Bal Shastri Jambekar, children, very important, is referred as the first editor by virtue of his being the editor of first Marathi newspaper. His birth date 6th January is observed in Maharashtra as Patrakar Din or Journalist Day. So children, this box type question is also very important. So he was the first editor of the Marathi newspaper, that is we had just learnt about it now, like Darpan, right? So his birth date 6th January is observed as Patrakar Din or Journalist Day in Maharashtra. Now Prabhakar. Now children, Prabhakar newspaper was started by Bhau Mahajan. Yes, it was started by Bhau Mahajan. The history of French Revolution and Shatpatre, that is the letters by Lokhitwadi, Gopal Hari Deshmukh. Gopal Hari Deshmukh was named as Lokhitwadi. Okay. So in the history of French Revolution and Shatpatre, the letters by Lokhitwadi, that is Gopal Hari Deshmukh, aimed at creating social awareness, were published in this newspaper. So in this newspaper Prabhakar, which was started by Bhau Mahajan, what did it include? Yes, history of French Revolution and Shatpatre, that is the letters by Lokhitwadi. Yes, have a look, children. Lokhitwadi. Now Nanoday. Now children, Nanoday printed the map of Asia in 1842 and map of Europe in 1851. So this is also very important. Nanoday printed the map of Asia in 1842 and the map of Europe in 1851. And the honor of printing an illustration in an Indian newspaper for the first time goes to Nanoday. Okay, this all you should remember. The news of installation of telegraph used for electrically transmitting a news can be seen in Nanoday. And the news of starting of railways in India was printed in Nanoday under the title Chakya Masoba, meaning Masoba on wheels. Okay, so the country's first passenger train, which ran between Bombay's Boribandar station and Thane on 16th April 1853. And it also printed the news of Indian War of Independence of 1857. So everything was printed in Nanoday. Okay. Now children, a newspaper named as Indu Prakash supported widow remarriage in a big way. So Indu Prakash, it had supported widow remarriage. Deen Bandhu. Now Deen Bandhu, a newspaper which represents masses of Indian society, that is Bahujan Samaj. It was started by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's close associate Krishna Rao Bhalekar. Okay, so Deen Bandhu, it is a newspaper which represents the masses of Indian society, that is Bahujan Samaj, and it was started by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's close associate Krishna Rao Bhalekar. Okay. Now let us learn about Kesari and Maratha. You all know, children, Gopal Ganesh Agarkar and Bal Gangadhar Tilak, or you can say Lokmanya Tilak, started these newspapers in 1881. They spoke about the social and political issues of that period. So Kesari and Maratha was started by Lokmanya Tilak and Gopal Ganesh Agarkar in 1881, and it spoke about the social and political issues of that period. So, children, in the 21st century, newspapers have continued to fulfill an important role. It was acknowledged the fourth column of democracy, or you can say it's a fourth pillar of democracy. So, in 21st century, newspapers have continued to fulfill an important role, and it was acknowledged as the fourth column or fourth pillar of democracy. Now let us learn about magazines and journals. Now children, magazines and journals, they are periodical publications, and this category, it includes publications. It could be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual, etc. And there may be some chronicles which are published at no fixed time. Now children, Bal Shastri Jambekar started the first monthly magazine in Marathi. It was named as Darshan. And among the periodicals, Pragati, which is now a defunct journal, was started in 1929 and was edited by Triambak Shankar Sejwalkar. So this periodical Pragati, which is not in use now, okay, but it was started in 1929 and it was edited by Triambak Shankar Sejwalkar. Okay. Now children, I will be discussing what type of questions you can expect in your examination. Okay. As I have already told you that you will be having MCQ type questions, but children, you have to this time type the long answers that I have already discussed about it in revision 1. Yes. Now children, we will be now discussing what type of questions you can expect in your examination. Okay. So children, now have a look at the questions. Complete the sentence by choosing a correct option. Now the first one, dash is the first newspaper in Marathi. Yes, dash is the first newspaper in Marathi. So children, you will be given the options and you have to select the correct option. Yes. So which is the answer here children? Dash is the first newspaper in Marathi. Yes, it's Darpan. Yes, so you have to click on Darpan. Okay. Now next one. 6th January is celebrated as Dash Day in Maharashtra. Yes, it is celebrated as Journalist Day, or you can say Patrakar Din. Okay, Journalist Day in Maharashtra. Okay. The letters Shatpatre published in Prabhakar were written by dash. So children, the letters Shatpatre published in Prabhakar were written by Lokhidwadi. You have to click on Lokhidwadi. So children, options are given. You have to just click on the correct option. Okay. The next one, identify the wrong pair. You have to identify the wrong pair. Now children, newspaper and editor. Now Prabhakar, it is given Acharya P.K. Atre, Darpan, Bal Shastri Jambekar, then Deen Bandhu, Krishna Rao Balekar, Kesari, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So children, you have to identify which is the wrong pair. Now children, the wrong pair here is Prabhakar, because Prabhakar was written by, yes, Bhau Mahajan. Okay. So this is our wrong pair. So read the head question correctly. Identify the wrong pair. Okay. So you have to identify the wrong pair. You have to just click on the correct option. Okay. Now next one, newspaper and issues. Prabhakar, history of French Revolution. Indu Prakash advocated widow remarriage. Deen Bandhu, information on telegraph. Kesari voiced social and political problems. So here children, you have to identify the wrong pair. Yes. So which is the wrong pair here children? Deen Bandhu, because Deen Bandhu is a newspaper about the masses, that is Bahujan Samaj. Yes. So Deen Bandhu is the wrong one. So you have to identify the wrong pair. Okay. Now next children, very important, arrange in chronological order. Now children, for this you should remember the years or the dates. Now children, the first one, just have a look. Kesari and Maratha newspapers were started. Darpan newspaper was started. Jnanodaya printed the map of Asia. The Indian War of Independence. So children, now children, the next one, arrange in chronological order. Now children, for attempting this question, you should know the years or the dates. Now the first one, Kesari and Maratha newspapers were started. Darpan newspaper was started. Then Jnanodaya printed the map of Asia, the Indian War of Independence. So for this you should know the years, right? So let us see. The first one, Kesari and Maratha newspapers were started. So it was started in 1881. Yes. Then Darpan newspaper. Now children, Darpan newspaper, it was started in 1832. Then Jnanodaya printed the map of Asia. Children, I'll write it here, okay? It printed a map of Asia in the year 1842. And the Indian War of Independence, you all know, it took place in the year 1857. Yes, so it took place in 1857. So now let us arrange in the order. Now children, the first one will be your Darpan newspaper was started. So it will be the second. Then the next one will be children 1842. That is Jnanodaya printed the map of Asia. Okay. Then after that we will have the Indian War of Independence, that is 1857. And then the last 1881, that is Kesari and Maratha newspapers were started. So children, you have to click on which one? Yes, you have to click here, that is 2341. Yes. So Darpan newspaper was started. It is 1832. Yes. Then Jnanodaya printed the map of Asia 1842. Then we have the Indian War of Independence 1857. And Kesari and Maratha newspapers were started 1881. So the correct order will be 2341. So you have to click on that. Yes. So I hope you have understood that how you had to attempt this question, arrange in the chronological order. So children, you should know the years for this question. Okay. So I hope this revision will definitely be helpful to you for your upcoming first semester examination. Now children, this lesson we will be continuing. The revision we will continue in the next period. Okay. So we will be continuing this lesson, that is mass media and history, in our next class. Till then, take care. Sai Ram.